Cloud is difficult to learn. Cloud is only for techies. Cloud certifications take a long time to do. No, no, and no again. Cloud is easy to learn, and you can do some of the beginner cloud certifications in AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud in less than 2 weeks. How do I know? I'm Ranga Karnam. I'm 10x certified in AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud as well. Our courses are helping thousands of learners do their cloud certifications in AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. In this series of videos, we'll be focusing on cloud fundamentals. Once you understand the fundamentals of cloud, you will see that learning AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud becomes really, really easy. In this video, let's focus on networking. Networking is one of the most difficult concepts to understand, especially for programmers. We are not used to dealing with networking, and that's why whenever we are starting with the cloud, one of the topics that we really struggle with is networking. In this video, we picked up 5 of the important networking concepts. We would be looking at VPCs, subnets, NAT. We'll also be looking at how to create a shared connection between the cloud platform and also from your data center. And we'll also look at how you can create dedicated connections between your cloud platform and your data center. So the goal is to simplify this and help you understand why networking is very important in the cloud. Let's get started. So why is networking very important when it comes to the cloud? Right? So let's consider a simple application, right? So let's say there is an application which you have. This is, let's call this an app, and this is talking to a database. Right? Typically, where do we have your applications deployed? Whenever we talk about enterprises, these applications are deployed in a big data center, right? So somewhere on a virtual machine inside your data center is where the specific application is deployed. And think about this, right? So this application might be sending some data to the database, getting it back, and things like that. There are a number of things that would be happening. This might be communicating with a queue, right? You don't want the outside world to be able to see what the traffic between the application and queue is, what the traffic between the application and database is. When it comes to the traditional data center kind of thing, this is easy because this is dedicated infrastructure for them within the data center. But as we know, cloud is not dedicated infrastructure. In cloud, we are making use of shared infrastructure. There is very high chance that the infrastructure you are making use of is shared by somebody else as well. And therefore, security is very important in the cloud. And understanding networking and implementing the networking concepts in the right way is one of the most important things that you can do to ensure that your application is really secure in the cloud. Now, if you'd want to do something like this, right? So this is your data center where you have an application which is talking to a database. If I would want to set up something like that in the cloud, what I would need to do is first draw this picture. So app talking to the database. This is what we would want to set up. In the cloud, what we would do is, if you don't want anybody to see the communication between this, and you want to control the complete communication between different components, different services that you're making use of, what you can do in the cloud is you can put all the things in something called a VPC. So what you do is you'd put everything in a VPC. VPC is virtual private cloud. So basically inside the cloud, you are creating a network of your own. Now, what is the advantage of this network? You can control what traffic is going in and what traffic is going out of this. So if somebody is making a request to a resource within this specific VPC, you can check and you can accept or deny it. You can configure rules on what these applications can do as well. You don't want the application to be talking to internet. You don't want the database to be talking to internet. So you can even control outgoing traffic as well. So you can control both the incoming traffic and the outgoing traffic in a VPC. So that's what a VPC allows you to do. So whenever people talk about VPCs in the cloud, the main role is to be able to control the traffic which is coming in to your resources. You don't want your resources to accept traffic which is unsecure, and you don't want unsecure requests going out from your services, your resources as well. And that's what is the primary objective of your VPC. And this VPC is called different things in different cloud platforms. In AWS, this is called Amazon VPC, right? So Amazon VPC. And in Azure, this is called Azure Virtual Network. So the same concept in Azure, it's called Virtual Network. And in Google Cloud, we call this Cloud VPC. So the VPC is called different things in different cloud platforms, as we discussed. It's Azure VPC. Sorry, it's Amazon VPC in AWS. It's Azure Virtual Network in Azure, and Cloud VPC in Google Cloud. Now, typically, when we talk about a VPC is associated with a specific region. Earlier, in the first video of this series, we talked about regions and zones. Typically, a VPC or a virtual network is associated with one region. What does that mean? That means that all the resources that you create in that specific VPC should belong to this single region only. So if I have a app and a DB in a specific VPC, then both of these belong to same region. However, when it comes to Google Cloud allows you to create global VPCs. So basically, in Google Cloud, there are no regional restrictions to resources which are created in a specific VPC. So you can have the app created in one region and the database created in some other region as well. So that's one primary difference when it comes to creating resources in AWS and Azure versus GCP. In GCP, the VPC is global. However, in AWS and Azure, you have regional VPCs. So the VPC or the virtual network is regional. So all the resources should belong to a specific region only. There are ways to get around this in AWS and Azure. However, those are workarounds. Those are not the basic features that are provided by either VPC or virtual networks in AWS and Azure. So until now, we focused on the VPC. The goal of VPC is to control the traffic which is coming into your network and going out of your network. So you're basically creating a network, you're putting all your devices in there, and you're controlling the traffic at the network level. And the other important concept when it comes to your networks is subnets. Whenever we talk about networking in the cloud, we talk about subnets. What is the need for subnet? That's what we will talk about right now, right? So you have an application which is talking to the database. Let's say I would want to allow users to access this application, right? So I would want external users to access this application. However, I don't want anybody to be able to access this database directly, right? So I only want certain people who are inside the network. Only things which are inside this network, I want them to be able to talk to this database. So maybe if a database administrator want to do administration on this database, they might need to create a VPC or VM, actually not a VPC, a virtual machine in here, maybe something like a bastion host, and then I would want them to be able to make changes to the database. But I don't want anybody to directly talk to this database. How can I do that? You can see that this resource, I would want to allow access from outside. However, this one, I don't want to allow access from outside. So different resources inside the same virtual private cloud, inside the same virtual network, have different access needs. So this one, I want to allow public access. Basically, I would want to allow access from internet. This one, I only want to have private access within the network. And that's where subnets come into picture. When you're making use of subnets, what you can do is you can create groups. So I can say all the public ones would come into this specific subnet. All the private resources would go into this specific subnet. So this is what is called a public subnet. Public subnet. And this is what is called a private subnet. I can configure rules on this specific subnet saying this should allow traffic from internet. And I can configure rules in here saying this should not allow traffic from internet. It should only allow traffic from this subnet. So I can say only applications in this specific subnet can talk to applications in this specific subnet. So even within the resources which are present inside a single VPC, certain resources might need access from internet, certain resources might not need access from internet, and there might be differences in the kind of access they need. And that's the reason why you group resources into subnets. So you create a subnet and you would put all the public resources in it. You would create another subnet, and you'd put all the private resources in it. And the private subnet will only allow requests from the public subnet. This allows you to categorize your resources in a better way, and this would ensure security as well. Anything you create in this, so I'm creating a new database here, or I'm creating another VM in here, I can be 100% sure that nobody will be able to access this resource from the outside, because the rules on the subnet prevent you from accessing things from outside, right? So that's the concept of a subnet. The great thing about a subnet is that subnet is called the same thing in all the cloud platforms. So inside VPCs, you can create subnet in AWS. In Azure, inside virtual networks, you can create subnets. And in Google Cloud as well, you can create subnets. In AWS and Azure, subnets are typically associated with a availability zone or a zone, right? So this is what it is associated with. However, in Google Cloud, it's associated with a region. So a subnet can contain resources created anywhere in a specific region in GCP. However, in Azure, you can only associate resources which are created in a specific zone. And in AWS, you can only associate resources which are created in a specific availability zone. So now we talked about the concepts of VPC and subnet. VPC is to control the traffic which is going into your resources and going out of your resources. Subnet is to further categorize your resources into public, private, and control your access even further. Now, certain times you'd want to allow access to internet from your resources. So let's say I'm having a private subnet which does not have access to internet, but let's say I would want to install a database patch. Where do you download the database patch from? I would need to go to the internet to be able to do that, right? So how do you allow access to internet for your resources which are present in private subnets? That's where you have NAT, or network address translation gateways, that come into picture. So these devices allow access to outside networks for your resources which are present inside your subnets. Now, what are the different NAT devices which are present in different cloud platforms? In AWS, this is called NAT Gateway. If you understood the naming conventions that Google Cloud uses, you should be able to easily find the name for it in Google Cloud. It's called actually Cloud NAT. And in Azure, it's also called NAT Gateway. So NAT Gateway in Azure and AWS, and Cloud NAT in GCP. That's how the NATs are called. These allow you to access internet from your resources. Typically, by default, NATs only allow outside communication. Basically, they allow communication from your device to internet. They don't allow inbound. So they don't allow requests from outside to inbound. As we discussed earlier, enterprises have their own data centers as well. And you might be having certain applications which are deployed in here. So you might have an application which is present in here, which wants to talk to a database which is present inside your cloud. So in the cloud, you have a database and you want to access it from an application which is present in your data center, right? So there are a lot of circumstances in which you'd want to create a hybrid cloud. Certain part of the infrastructure is inside the data center of an enterprise, and certain part is inside the cloud itself. And that's where you'd want to be able to establish connection between your data center and the cloud. This connection can go over the internet. So there are two options. One is connection over the internet, or you can actually establish a dedicated connection just for you. So you can establish a dedicated connection as well. You can either go for a dedicated connection, or you can go for a connection over the internet. When you're going for connection over the internet, this is called a VPN. When the VPN connections go over your internet, right? So this goes over internet, and therefore it's very, very important to ensure that this is secure, right? You don't want to send unencrypted information over the internet, especially if it's communication between two different applications. That's where you would go for something called IPsec protocol. Typically, whenever you're making use of VPNs, you're making use of IPsec protocol, irrespective of the cloud, AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. You're always sending encrypted data over the VPN. Now, what are the shared connection options? The VPN is what is called a shared connection because you are actually sending data over internet. So this is not really a secure connection which is dedicated for you. It's internet, so it's kind of shared with everybody. So the data flow, this data speed is also not guaranteed because the internet speed can change from one moment to another. So this is kind of a shared connection. This is this is a lot of cloud platform. A lot of enterprises actually start using a VPN and then move on to a dedicated connection. So it's a good way to get started, right? But this might not be the end goal, right? So this should be a good starting point, shared connection for a lot of times. And the different cloud providers have different names for these shared connections as well. In AWS, this is called AWS Managed VPN. And in Google Cloud, it should be easy. It's called Cloud VPN. And Azure calls it Azure VPN. Now, if you want to establish a dedicated connection, each of the cloud platforms also offer services for that as well. In Azure, in AWS, this is called Direct Connect. AWS Direct Connect. It's also abbreviated as DC. So Direct Connect is what it's called in AWS. In Azure, it's called Azure Express Route. So it's Azure Express Route in Azure. And in Google Cloud, it's called Cloud Interconnect. So Direct Connect in AWS, Express Route in Azure, and Cloud Interconnect in Google Cloud Platform. So if you'd want to go for a shared connection, you'd go for a VPN, which goes over the internet, which is secured automatically by IPsec protocol. If you want a dedicated connection, you have different options in different cloud platforms as well. Networking is one of the most difficult concepts to understand when you go to the cloud. And that's why we picked up the 5 most important networking related concepts, and we tried to make them simple in this specific video. I'm sure you had a great time watching this video. Do not keep it to yourself. Tell your friends and tell YouTube as well. How do you do that? Like, share, and subscribe. If you're looking to get cloud certified, check out our cloud certification courses in AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. And do not forget to check out the other videos in this series of videos on cloud fundamentals. If there is a cloud topic that you're feeling it's very, very difficult to understand, do post it in the comments and we will make it simple for you. I'm sure you had a great time watching this video, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Until then, here's bye from Ranga at In 28 Minutes. See you soon.